I still think Tusk is also pretty valuable, but anything that's going to lane nicely versus Silencer is going to be valued pretty highly. And go for
Okay.
Marcy. Okay. The other, well, 4 ideal 4 hero, a hero that has gotten way more popular in the past 2 days, more so than anything else in this tournament. We're simply jumped by Tiny Tusk, but Tiny Tusk are both
Oi,
available, and they were
oi,
both
hey,
ignored for
hey,
Marcy.
Which does maybe hint to us here on the Beast Coast side that they are looking for that more damage oriented option because we always see the Marcy, even as the 4, you're 1 or 2 items away from basically being a core hero when you pop your ult. So that might be the plan for Beast Coast, and that was kind of the plan the last time these two teams played. Obviously, with some of the stand ins here, it is a little bit different, ET, but Beast Coast got that 2-0 over Ravens with just overwhelming amounts of firepower in the team fights itself. The laning stage was kind of just ho hum, relatively close, but once we got to that 15 to 25-minute range, Beast Coast just completely dominated the game.
Yeah, and that's what Beast Coast and I think specifically the Thunder Awaken members add to the lineup, where they are extremely active. They are very in your face. They don't need a lot of farm to really get going. They are just kind of running at you and using little level advantages as opposed to farming for those big items. Even though they're Beast Coast, they could do both styles. They're a very confident Dota 2 team. But it's where Dark Mago just frees up the other two cores so much. He just runs at you. He just forces you to react. And we will see, because with the Terrorblade pickup, we're getting kind of there, Ravens, for what this Dawnbreaker is going to have to do here. And if it does just end up being Benjez's hero, that's fine, even though there are a good few Parker heroes that he can decide to lane versus it. But we'll have to see. But I think they're just feeling good right now. I think they're just going to be very confident. Beast Coast do want, I think, one more team fighter or just one more solid stun. It's where Beastmaster Ember Spirit, they're great casual lockdown, even the Marcy, it kind of just at the last minute you get in there. But really, Frostbite is their best spell for just straight up lockdown. I think if they get one more tool in the tool shed, then it's going to be really easy for them to play. That's why I think the Morphling ban is very nice, but the Drow ban right on the money. Just something to give them that next tool.
Mm-hmm. Of course, well, Parker now still has some options to choose from, but as you said, a lot of those good ones have been taken away. No Morph, no Drow. Even the CK would have been nice in terms of just getting both the lockdown and maybe the durability on that front line. There's still something like a Sven in the pool ET if you're looking for a similar kind of style, but haven't really seen Parker play the Sven too many times. I'm sure he could, if called upon, but has not really been a particular favorite for him. So at this point, well, could you get away with something a little bit less durable just to have the damage and the lockdown in your lineup?
Yeah, I'm looking at Sven. I'm looking at Naga. I'm also still kind of looking at Parker TA. But the big thing is they need to pick something that can play versus the cheese, and they go for Pudge. Okay, I mean that is a very different approach, but Beast Coast leave themselves slightly vulnerable here. Ravens can still move things. PP can go mid Dawnbreaker. They can go for an offlane to counterpick them here. But now it's up to Ravens to make that final decision. But this is not what I expected. I knew they were going to have to avoid some heroes, but there's still the Nature's Prophet in the pool. There's still Viper in the pool. It's very dangerous to just pick a very strong, albeit strength melee core safe laner, but it's still a melee safe laner, what could be a very difficult lane if Benjaz wants it to be. But now it's up to Ravens. How much do you want to push this advantage? What's going to be your 24 pick here? If you don't find the advantage in the off lane and you just have the Dawnbreaker versus Pudge matchup, that's fine. But you're going to want to find something to get the leg up over the Ember Spirit now instead.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that is going to be a Pudge lane with the Crystal Maiden to back it up, which is a combo we have seen repeatedly in this event, as Ravens will go for the Kunkka. So, eh, maybe not necessarily a direct counter to anything. Kunkka just kind of is there, but durability, lockdown. My only concern now, if Kunkka's at the 2 and Dawnbreaker's at the 3 ET, this lineup might end up overly reliant on Yuma for damage.
Yeah. And, well, it's a good thing he's Terrorblade
Mm.
because he will be able to output quite a bit. but it could be more difficult for Ravens. I think, fortunately for them, we are in a situation where they've got a good few stuns where leading in with that Dawnbreaker ulti isn't going to be too hard. Lifting a Dawnbreaker ulti is usually enough. Same with any X combo here from PP. It should just work. It isn't the most guaranteed disable on, let's say, the Ember Spirit. He's still going to have a lot of wiggle room in this game. But for everybody else, it's going to feel pretty all right, as well as them having the tools to answer, I think, both the Primal Roar and the Dismember plays. When it comes to Parker and Sacred, especially once that Solar Guardian is online, they do have to be careful. Of course, maybe we play into that game where it's one play of forcing the Dawnbreaker ulti and then another play of actually getting the kill, but Beast Coast are going to have to pace themselves out here with those spells. Otherwise, Ravens do have very good responses, and a combo that we've seen so far already in the tournament is just having Rum with a heal, making team fights last so much longer for Ravens. Will probably give Yuma that time to find a Sunder. Yuma's in a really safe spot on Terrorblade. It's where it's very unlikely now for him to get bursted, and it's also where, sadly, for Schofield, isn't that ideal combo with the Primal Roar, with the Beastmaster. Even that damage is going to be a little bit slow.
Well, we shall see how this plays out. As I mentioned previously, in the last series these two played, Beast Coast were willing to sort of take it slow in the laning stage and then really start turning up the heat when we got to the mid game and started taking some of those larger team fights. We'll see if they play into something similar here, or well, if Ravens are going to be able to outlast them. I think looking at this lineup compared to what they ran last time, ET, their ability to outlast Beast Coast is certainly better. Right, last time out, I think they were trying for the Benjaz Broodmother strat. They got it in both games, and obviously that didn't really work out fantastically for them. But you got TB, you've got a Dawnbreaker, you've got a Kunkka. You're not going to get immediately wiped out of these fights, and that could make all the difference for them.
Yeah, and speaking of, Broodmother did not get banned or picked in this draft. So come that next game, and maybe we see a slight switch up, but nobody seemed interested in her this time around, which is very, very different. But we'll have to see, because that could have an effect, especially if this series goes to a game three and you're in that best of one situation, then, anything could come out.
Mm-hmm. We'll have to see if it goes the distance or not. Right now, though, East Coast moving their way across the river here just a little bit. Parker's already skilled up the hook, so he would love some sort of initiation, but Raven's not going to give them that sort of easy fight. Instead, they're going to try and fight in the river here against Dark Mago, and that's a 4v1. Your Ember Spirit doesn't want to get involved, so going to be a simple 2-2 split here on the runes, and we get into the laning stage. No funny business, no tri-lanes, anything of that nature, ET. Just a little bit of a D-ward, actually, from Demon, if he can get across the river to actually take it out. But Dark Mago, yeah, says, no, you. Maybe I lose the ward, but I'm not giving you any gold.
Yeah, unfortunately for PP. A little bit too difficult for him to spread out. But now, Dark Mago's got no vision on the runes, so maybe we see a rotation back mid where somebody tries to steal his water rune and the other mid breaks for the other. But that's where Kunkka isn't so interested in the bottle rush. Ember Spirit's definitely going to look to get his earlier.
Top lane, Stinger and Parker already sort of go to work there. Frostbite into hook onto the Rubik, but without the extra damage and slow there from the Rot, they can't really make that play happen just yet, but trying to set up for it. Burn through some of the early regen so that the next time around when they have the levels, there won't be as much to protect the support there. As speaking of potentially protecting the support, Kara is getting hit up here, and he might actually go down. A couple more right clicks need to come through, but Schofield decides to back it off, and well, another scenario, ET. This duo goes in, but since they're level 1, they can't find the kill. Axes were attempted, but Kara kind of saw it coming and backed off.
Yeah, just a very nice play. A lot of nice damage traded out. And you're getting the salve going on the silencer, so it could be worse, but just very efficient trades, making it happen with the Marcy. A little bit, different from what we're used to seeing, but same ideas, just being very efficient with your mana. Of course, a hero that has always been very efficient and has low-cost spells, but just making it work, baiting them into a lot of plays with Sacred and the axes early on as well. Even though right now, Sacred's tapped and he doesn't want to buy any more mangoes. He's just green up for the Helm of Iron Will, as he should.
So it's going to be on Schofield to just try to harass. Maybe if you get it disposed back, Sacred can come in and just kind of right-click in there a few times, but not much more than that, as Schofield's just going to steal a creep wave here.
Ooh, nice play from Kara.
Yeah. Schofield is taking a fair bit of damage. Yuma's making his way over as well, but that's a little too far for the TB to walk, but mission accomplished. If you're Kara, not only do you stop the steal there, you honestly still get the pull you were looking for. It is kind of getting taken away from Sacred, but still partially accomplishing what Kara wanted.
Yeah, and then Yuma steals the majority of the creeps. Just little plays from Ravens, but very nice stuff. They get a lot of stability back into the lane now. Just really exactly what they were looking for. And the only reason Schofield goes for that creep pull is because Sacred probably calms to his teammate. I don't really have mana. I don't really want to buy mana either. I just want to chill, let the creep wave come in. So very smart just to counter it out as Yuma gets a ton of damage here on Sacred. I mean, yeah, Schofield's got to help his teammate out, but just, it worked. Just walked him out of the lane.
Yeah. Some free damage there. Well, I say free. No such thing as free if you're using meta. Just a massive cooldown. But you get to bully your opponent. He's going to be able to clean up really the rest of that creep wave as well. And at this stage, I don't know, maybe a hit or two onto the tower, although he's still trying to actually hit up the heroes in this instance, so the tier 1 won't take a crazy amount of damage, but Yuma goes a long way towards establishing a little bit of control. The only downside now, though, you have pushed under the tower. So Sacred and Schofield get a little bit of time, a little bit of experience here, and a chance to reset.
Yeah, and we'll see. Keeping Schofield in the lane's nice, but yeah, top, a lot of damage. Demon's trying to walk this one out, but it just doesn't work. And Stinger doesn't have very much more mana, but unless they get some crazy hook through a creep wave, it's unlikely to get the follow-up kill, but they got what they wanted.
And Benjaz, I don't know. An interesting choice there to try and turn around for the Starbreaker. Sure, it keeps the Rubik safe, but it put him literally right next to the Pudge with level 2 Rot going, so tried to make a play, didn't work out. First blood to Beast Coast, and hopefully a quick reconnect here for PP. There we go. Dropped out for a second, coming back in fairly quickly, ET, but that does give us a second to talk about this mid matchup here. They're pretty much even in terms of the last hits, and well, I mean, PP's got the double bracer build, so as of right now, Dark Mago just really is not going to have the damage to burn him down.
Yeah, just a little bit too tanky. If he ever does feel like he needs to go back to base, he can just do the X combo. So, you know, it's not too bad. BP is also level 5 now, so he's at that point where he can actually very efficiently trade into the Ember. But the funny thing about this matchup is as soon as you can trade into the Ember Spirit with Tidebringer, well, he gets his level 6, and then he heals up and TPs back to his Fountain. So, really, both sides have quite a few resources they could put back into the lane. And without any supports rotating over, of course, it's going to change for the 6 minute, but just means that nobody is under all too much pressure.
Just kind of hanging out at the moment. Do see Dark Mago, though, going for the Orb of Corruption build, so might get a little bit more damage in the early stages with that build instead of just some sort of early Maelstrom rush like we've seen from some of the other mid options. As top lane Parker, he got himself into a little bit of trouble there, pulled back, but that's where the Flesh Heap comes into play. Only level 1 ET, but it allows him to absorb a lot of that damage.
Yeah, he's able to walk that one out, gets to kill the card, but look, PP, I mean, that's as simple as it gets. Just pushes the wave in, gets a level advantage, and just straight up kills Dark Mago with Ghost Chef. I mean, that's pretty wild. That is not what I expected. And of course, you can Sleight of Fist dodge some of that combo, but it still is just surprising that there was even such a level discrepancy. People just caught him completely off guard, and then he gets Schofield thinking that he would be safe and maybe wanting a sip of the bottle, but PP, where have you been?
Oh man, that looked pretty damn good there. And Schofield, yeah, just either misremembering the range of Tidebringer or thinking he was just not going to have to deal with the Kunkka at all with how far back he was, but either way, it does cost him his life, and well, your Kunkka picks up two, looking pretty good. Up in the top lane, though, Benjaz, he's getting hit up a little bit. Schofield, well, respawns, TP's top, looks to push in, and doesn't quite make up for the 2 kills they gave up mid, but it is getting Parker into a slightly better spot. But now, here comes the Ember looking to track down Demon. And yeah, at this point, very little health, basically no mana, everything on cooldown. Demon is going to get taken down as well.
Yeah, no boots, you know. You do what you gotta do. Parker also lost his Vanguard, kind of unfortunate for him. His courier just died at the enemy secret shop, so kind of sucks for him, but very nice rotations in from Schofield, really making it happen after the unfortunate death. And also gets to leave Sacred in a very safe spot. Bottom lane's gone completely cold. He's got the Helm of the Dominator now. He's very satisfied, even though this is a little bit strange, but it's free. It's easy. Gets a boat again. Just gets to use it immediately as it comes off cooldown, and then TP's top. I mean, PP is making those rotations. It's great to see. And Parker might be caught none the wiser.
Yeah, did not realize that this was all coming his way, and he was in trouble even before PP got involved there, so a little bit of an awkward one from the Pudge. Stinger now trying to cut his way through the tree line, and he's not dead yet. Schofield is going to TP in, trying for the rebound play, but rebounds on to nothing, and well, now he just has to hope that they don't come chasing after him, and it looks like for now, ET, yeah, Ravens aren't going to get too greedy with it, but another impressive rotation. PP really the engine for this squad right now, and yeah, that ward scouts all this out. Parker feels comfortable TPing in. Does he feel comfortable going for a hook, though? This is still 3 heroes, okay. Does feel comfortable with the hook, just not too comfortable with the aim.
Yeah, they want to play. They want to get something done before Benjaz has Solar Guardian, but with a kind of whiff, it ends up being a little bit too telegraphed, even though they do make a dive happen mid. Dark Mago gets to spend some of his time. I think lost track of the Ember Spirit for a second there, just because he placed a Remnant top, then he's immediately back mid. But you see already, the level of discrepancy is still there. PP is so annoying!
Is this
And
enough?
I mean,
No.
okay.
Still had that Remnant.
Still, though, PP's a killer. My goodness.
No fear whatsoever, right? As you said, he free fires the Torrent there. The Torrent hits, and then he goes for the X into the boat, so I mean, hell, if you're feeling that confident, might as well go for it. And now, maybe some of the damage issues become a little bit less prevalent, because if he's able to get this much gold this early, well, the build gets accelerated a bit, although as I say that, he does need to make sure he's not cut out here. The rebound may not have hit, but the dispo still pulls him back. But at this point, Dark Mago's the one in a little bit of trouble. He's going to have to dodge this X. Well, he is able to dodge away. Silence hits him immediately afterwards, though, so he can't jump again. And PP finishes him off with the Tidebringer. There is going to be a little bit of a sacrifice on the other side of the map, though. They go in onto Benjaz, recognizing everybody's in the middle lane, so we've got a solo play here, and they get the kill ET, but they won't get the tower, because guess who's here? Immediate TP in from the Kunkka. PP is playing everywhere on the map right now. He is getting a hell of a lot done.
Yeah, and now, though, they're trying to collapse on him. There is a Solar Guardian, though. This is not a clean dive, and yep, there you go. Stinger going to die incredibly quickly. Now, Parker,
Oh boy.
well, he's in over his head. Beast Coast did not check themselves before this play, and they're going to get hard punished.
Trying to save it with the Dismember here, but that's really not going to be enough. And PP, well, he gets the kill. They clean up 2. Their tower's still standing. For now, at least. There we go. Got to take the siege creep out of there, and they do exactly that. And ET, all of a sudden, you know, Ravens are looking pretty good here. Demon, yeah, maybe this is slightly over-ambitious, but he's not going down that quickly, and here comes the reinforcements. Kara's in. PP's making his way over. That rebound play into the Unleash is going to try to create a distraction, but PP is not deterred. He knows the target he wants. Trying to get onto Dark Mago, and, well, unfortunately, they can't quite track him down. They do trade out supports, but the Ember gets away.
Yeah, and 6.2k net worth at 11 minutes, man. I mean, it's just great. The only problem is that even though they hold bottom, there's still a lot of pressure that hasn't been applied to Sacred. He's pretty much had a free Beastmaster game so far, and he's getting active. He's coming mid. They want a revenge play right now. They do see Benjas walking over, but this is that scary moment. All they have is global right now, so this has to be a preemptive save play. Otherwise, they're
Oh,
going to
the
get
root.
taken down here. Here we go. Step one, but
Global comes in. Ghost Ship follows. Staggers the assault, but they're still going. They get the rebound. Do they have a dispose? No, but they do have a roar. Now the dispose comes into play, but do they have the damage here? That's a defensive sunder out from Yuma. They cannot afford to lose PP here, and they know it, so... Pulling out all the stops there. That does mean Yuma basically doesn't get to participate in the rest of this fight, but will there be a fight? Dark Mago and Schofield are pushing in, and they can maybe get onto Kara, but now PP, with the pressure off of him, is going to turn right back around. Gets off a hell of a lot of damage there with the Tidebringer. They're going to be able to clean up too. But they need to be able to take down Dark Mago again. He's got DOT on him, but he doesn't have any more remnants. He has to try and grab something. The haste rune goes into his bottle, but he's caught by the X. Can he dodge it with a slight? No, he can't. Pulled back, finished off by Fade Bolt and Sacred. He's going to try something here. Kara maybe dies to the creep. No, he doesn't. They get the Frostbite onto it. A stolen Frostbite, by the way, from Demon, and that means that there are no casualties on the Raven side, and oh, Sacred. He is caught, Solar Guardian in, and that's everybody. I mean, every single hero who shows up for what was supposed to be a gank mid ends up getting taken down.
yeah, and it ends up being a 4-for-1 with Demon dying, ages ago. He gets to participate in so many of those kills after the fact. Beast Coast are just getting out team fought by Ravens. Ravens take this little advantage they've been able to get with PP and have just spiraled it out of control. And now Beast Coast are the ones that kind of have to check themselves. They might be stuck farming and saying, okay, we kind of fed a lot of kills to our opponents, and the only reason they can fight us is because of our misplays, so we might be stuck farming versus a Yuma Terrorblade. And Yuma's just happy. He's smiling. Aside from that Sunder, he has been pretty much unaffected by any of these rotations from Beast Coast, aside from his mid tower dying, but he is just back to where he wants to be in the triangle.
Just living a quiet sort of farming life at the moment. And for Ravens, I mean, you think they don't maybe have memories of what happened the last time out, right? I said in that series on the DPC, they were overwhelmed in team fights. So this time ET, they say, all right, we're going to be the team with all the team fight strength, and right on cue. They go in onto Dark Mago. They do have to use Global. They do have to use Ghost Ship, but these kills just keep on pushing their advantage further and further forward.
Yeah, it's pretty expensive, but it's a kill that they're always going to go for. And that was even with the BKB reveal on PP. But no fight, nothing followed up because Beast Coast are spread out on the map. They're trying to farm all 3 lanes. They're trying to get into that recovery mode. It's why every once in a while you do see the gold lead slightly tipping back in their favor because they are just getting more out of the map right now. But that's where it's still up to Ravens to kill Beast Coast. They still need to get out. They still need to make sure they're not falling too far behind. Beast Coast are playing incredibly split up right now. So there are punishes to find. Ravens just need to find where to actually hit.
That is the thing about this style. If they're trying to force these fights, then they need to keep forcing them. Don't give your opponents any time to reset, because, well, I mean, Beast Coast, they're 2k behind, and you think, yeah, that's bad, and it is, but looking at their core heroes, the gap is not massive among the cores, so give them time to farm, things are going to go bad. PP trying to push his way forward. This is going to get a little bit complicated, though. The root comes in, rebound, connects. Solar Guardian, though, will be deployed, but Parker was able to get the hook off. He pulls PP away, no BKB activated, so they're able to find that first kill. Now they want more. They get Kara as well. Demon will fall. Oh, man, Benjaz. I mean, he comes into the fight with a Solar Guardian, but I don't think he wanted to be there in the end as Beast Coast respond in exactly the manner that they needed.
Yeah, and that's what you have to be careful of. All that happens there, they step a little bit too far forward and they don't clear out this ward. So they're under vision this entire time. They are just getting baited in, and then the hook from Parker just blows it wide open. PP doesn't get BKB off, there's no rum, the Ghost Ship doesn't come through. It's also where Benjaz is not going for that Saki, I'm going to just be a healer with Greaves build. He's going for Deso on the Dawnbreaker, but it just means that their team fight is that much weaker. and Ravens bait themselves into the fight, even though they don't have global. So that's where Beast Coast, the team with certainly a little bit more experience, it's that captainship from Schofield and Stinger, you always have to be careful of, because it's a little bit like this. You give a play here, you give a kill there, you give a little bit of ground, and then Beast Coast just start to take everything. Even though PP finds a nice little pickoff in the mid lane, and they do scout out a pretty nice DD rune, but still, they have to get a good team fight win now.
Oh, okay. With the double damage, they're going to go for Roche instead. They pop the meta, they push their way in, and your Beast Coast, do you have really any idea that this is going down here? Doesn't look like they're doing a lot in terms of scouting it at the moment, so this could just be Roche for free. Okay. Roche goes down, Yuma takes the Aegis, and I mean, if you're gonna drop a DD rune right in the Terrorblade's face like that, you might as well try as Demon. Well, he gets hooked in, but there's the immediate global to follow it up. Stole the hook, pulls Parker back. Now they've got the X on him as well. This fight is going to get a little complicated, but they're going to try and go for it. There's a Solar Guardian into play. Stinger is channeling a Freezing Field, so Yuma does have to be a little careful here. Does he want to use Sunder on his first life? Doesn't get the chance to. Going to get taken down. But honestly, without Parker, do they have enough damage to do this? They do get one kill onto Benjez. Carr's going to get picked off in the back line as Dark Mago was just kind of harassing the supports. But they need more. They need PP. Can they lock him down? He does have his X back up, but nothing else, so he can't hold the line. And Yuma and all of that ET, well, decided to get the hell out of Dodge. Once he loses the first life, he just TPs away.
Yeah, and it's very nice that Yuma's actually able to run that one out. But again, 4 for 1, you still get the pudge, but the fight just breaks out too quickly. And they got the hero pairings they want. Dark Mago got to run wild on the supports. Meanwhile, Schofield is in a 1v1 versus PP, and even though it's a BKB Kunkka who has had the advantage up until this point, Marcy's just sitting there healing. Just pause the sidekick with the Unleash is just in the worst hero matchups you could possibly ask for Ravens, and they just get picked apart. And the bigger problem, the overlooming problem, is that these are all fights without BKBs. And there are 2 BKBs in queue from Beast Coast. Once you get to ignore one of those big ultimates, either the Soul Guardian or the Global, well, we've got a big problem, Ravens. That's where you all start to lean on Yuma a little bit more. And Yuma is making his way to big items like Scotty, but will he be able to carry you through these team fights? Is this where Ravens really feel like they missed their timing? We're kind of getting there.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I mean, the reason Parker goes down there is due in very large part to the Solar Guardian coming into play. So if they could just ignore it and fight through, you're down a pretty big tool. And Yuma, I mean, he did not last all that long in that fight. Granted, he refused to use Sunder because he had the Aegis and was kind of hesitant in terms of overcommitting spells, but you're not really at that tanky point just yet. The Scotty may change that, right? Get yourself the stats, be a little bit harder to lock down, but Ravens have to be very careful about the way that they approach this. And I mean, ET, it feels like now they absolutely can't take any fights if they don't have all of their ults back up. Even when they're down 1 or 2, the results have been kind of concerning.
Yeah, and I do like the switch up from Benjaz. Besides, okay, maybe the test is a little bit too wild for me. Gonna turn the Mithril Hammer into a BKB because it just makes a little bit more sense. It makes him a lot less vulnerable to all of the magic damage that Beast Coast has been outputting, but it's still a decision that you start to wonder, is it too little too late? Was it just that easy of a game to throw versus Beast Coast? Are Beast Coast really that good? I mean, they kind of are, but you don't want to be that glum there on Ravens. And they still are farming very nicely, especially on the Terrorblade. They're starting to give him even more farm. But again, you have to highlight that Beast Coast are just playing more of the map. They are split out more. They are farming more. They are just not as scared as Ravens feel right now. Where Ravens are, you know, trying to mirror those hero pairings and then should have the advantage because they have Solar Guardian, but they're scared. They're afraid of losing another team fight in the same decisive way they've lost the past 2, but they can't get in their heads too much here. And, well,
okay,
a play top, but they'll get him, but does not feel very nice.
that's Solar Guardian used for that, so At least they get the kill, right? If they came away empty-handed, that would be disastrous. But even that kill's a little bit iffy because the Marcy, the Marcy is closing in on a BKB of her own. So it was a good time to kill her, but that play may not be available the next time around. And Stinger and Sacred poking around, kicking the tires a bit, seeing what's open, and Dark Mago says, I'm going in now. BKB activated. He is looking for the fight. Kara's going to pop the global, but he still dies. But that does allow the rest of the lineup to escape. But ET, you had to use your Solar Guardian to kill Schofield. Now you have to use your Global Silence to get the other half of your lineup away to safety, so you can't really take a fight right now. You can't afford to be aggressive with two of your big ults down.
Yeah, you kind of just have to wait. And the one who didn't really get to do much in that engagement, Sacred's just back to being annoying. He's immediately onto a building. He's onto an objective. That was just a two-man smoke of the cores just running in. And sure, they want to find a punish here on Dark Mago, but Dark Mago says, no, I'm in. He's on Illusion Rune. He's just going for it.
And PP's in some trouble. He's going to pop his BKB, looking for a TP home. Nobody has any sort of bash or any play like that, so they do let him go, but they get Demon, and now Benjaz and Yuma, they're in a little bit of an awkward spot. Stunned up momentarily, but Dark Mago's health is questionable. Lost about half his HP there, but the sidekick being placed on him could get him back up quickly, but at this point, this would be diving maybe a little bit too far. Beast Coast are going to back it off, or maybe only going to fake backing it off. Four-man smoke, moving their way north, hoping that maybe Ravens lose their cohesion and somebody steps too far forward here.
Yeah, and you blink, and then suddenly Beast Coast is 6k up. I mean, it's just incredible the way that they're playing Dota, how fast they're getting out.
BKB on PP.
The Kunkka, he's been cut off.
Torrent's not going to help him. He's rooted. He is just completely taken down, and I think he was looking for Demon there with that hook, just trying to maybe get a little bit greedy, but not going to be able to find anything, but they got the big kill. And now Dark Mago says, I'm going to go. See if you can find a kill here. Kara gets picked off again, really making use of that BKB AT, and very nearly running it down to lowest duration already, but look at what it has earned Beast Coast in the process. All right, 7k net worth lead, pressure on the tier 2 tower, and the roles here have been entirely reversed.
Yeah, and the bigger problem for Ravens is you check the side lanes. Nobody is out onto the map. They are all stuck on the high ground right now. They just don't feel like walking out. And they also feel like, hey, we have everything. We have BKB Dawnbreaker. We have all of our ultimates. We have BKB Kunkka back up. We should fight them, so they keep Yuma in the base for said fight. But because they're just waiting around, the gold lead gets worse. The cores on Beast Coast use the map. They TP around. They farm everything. And then they come back and fight you, and then they win the team fight. So something's got to change here, Ravens. This is not getting any better. And they are smoking out of the base, but a smoke that doesn't look like it's going to land. They're looking for Dark Mago, and they would find a Dark Mago without his BKB, but he fades away as soon as he thinks that you can meet him. And maybe they get him in the secret shop here, but look, Stinger's ready to trade places and then block the smoke. I mean, the choreographed play from Beast Coast is just on another level.
Dude, Stinger's got a Vanguard. He's building a Crimson Guard. What is this? Beast Coast, they were supposed to be in trouble, ET. 10 minutes ago, we were wondering if they were going to be able to turn this back around, and now Stinger's building a Crimson Guard. So they are not even entertaining the notion of being under threat right now. They know just how far ahead they are.
Oh, and they're looking for PV's BKB mid.
Yep, that's going to force it out. Solar Guardian's coming in, but now Benjaz, you are separated from your teammates. Kara does get the Global Silence off, but dies immediately after, and they're just in full retreat, trying to get themselves away. Demon, though, gets rooted up, does go for the Stolen Dismember. That is locking Dark Mago down long enough for the Ghost Ship to come through, and they will kill him off. Dark Mago falls. Schofield jumped into his opponent's base there. I think he was just trying to maybe keep PP distracted, but that didn't really work, so solid fight. They do still lose 2 on the Raven side, and they did just blow all of their big ults, so I don't know if they're willing to look for a second round of fighting, but the first round does not go as poorly as it could have, although if they lose the TB here, we're talking about a different story. But Demon comes in, able to disrupt that Dismember, but Yuma, I'm not sure what he sundered there, but it didn't actually get him a lot of health, and well, now they're all dead. That was Very unfortunate with the timing.
Yep, just got baited by the hawk. Yumo has been cooked. He's been eyed out for so much time. And then Parker just says, okay, I wasn't in that last fight. Yeah, I'm going to come. I saw my BKB. And it just works. He just runs at him. And until we get a BKB from Yuma, there's always that risk of the Pudge just running at you and taking you out. And Sacred's here to do the building damage. I mean, Beast Coast are a very capable lineup. It's where having that power spread out to your offlaner, as long as Sacred's around with the aura and with his creep, they can afford to do this. This is greedy, though. Going for the melee racks instead of the range, it could be too difficult. Now, Parker really needs some help here, and will get forced away.
All right, they're able to get him out of there. Demon, I think, was hoping to take Hook. Instead, he gets Rot. One of the single worst feelings in the world for the Rubik players, but at least they were able to keep the damage to a minimum here. The melee Rex is still standing. The tier 3 goes down, sure, but that refreshes their glyph, and we're able to try and reset. Global is up in 10, so you can try to make something happen. But ET, the last couple of times, it's been rough. That last fight was really the best one we had seen from them in a while, and then Yuma getting caught out afterwards kind of just wiped all the progress away.
Yeah, you aren't able to farm the map after your team fight win. You don't get out anywhere. Now we're going to have to think about this next Roche and what that's going to mean for the game. I think if Beast Coast get an Aegis, especially onto Dark Mago, it might be doomsday time. I mean, Dark Mago is also level 19. It's kind of insane where we're at in this game. Isn't looking for the Ags either. He just wants the Kai Sanj instead, but with Roche respawning, already Yuma very wisely having an illusion in the pit, so he'll be able to scout it out before anybody else, but this is the game now. And look at this. Dark Mago's underneath their vision. They've got a Hawk as well, though.
Gonna try to push their way forward. Dark Mago trying not to give away the fact that he knows where they are, but over to the south, they kind of jump the gun. They go straight in there, but there's going to be your BKB pop by Benjes. Global Silence is going to be deployed. Yuma went for the meta, but they're not killing anyone, and now the Roar is going to be deployed onto PP. His BKB wears off. Solar Guardian has to be used to try and keep him alive, and for now it will, but the Freezing Field is just doing all the damage. Stinger's going to actually end up getting the kill there, and Dark Mago pushes his way forward. Root onto the Terrorblade. They want to force out his Sunder, but they don't want to dive too far. So they will back up. They'll reset. Going to try to maybe focus in on Demon here. They get the Root down onto him. Rebound will stun him up, and now the Rubik is... well, he's actually going to live. He uses the Stolen Remnants to both jump back into the base and help get the kill onto Sacred, but Yuma needs backup. Someone's got to protect him. He's caught by the Dismember, going to get killed off, and they were focused on the wrong thing there for Ravens. They all pulled back, but they all were focused on getting back for themselves, not for defending their carry, and ET Yuma has a buyback, but without the meta, there's really not much to buy back for.
Yeah, and I don't think they will buy back. They can't go for another set of racks either, as that is a crazy hook. And we'll see. I mean, there are only 2 heroes in the base here. He will be able to telekinesis the Pudge as soon as he goes for said Dismember, but what an unfortunate time to DC there from PP. But Beast Coast kind of have this game. They kind of have really every objective to play for. They can double back now, look for the pit. Isn't a great push in, especially with Sacred being dead, but it could be worse. But I don't know. We'll have to see how they decide to handle this Benjaz hook situation. But they can't swing for any more racks. That's the good news. They're tier 2 standing, but this is a situation to be in.
Now, I guess we'll have to see, because Stinger's got a force, could get in there for the Frostbite. Dark Mago's still sitting on a Remnant, and he does have the chains back up, so if they wanted to, they could try to push in onto Benjaz, and then do you have the damage to kill him off in time? They're going to go for it, and Demon, what's the play here? Does he have anything to do? Not really. Could have tried for the telekinesis, but I think that would have put him in sort of range of being initiated on himself, so decides not to go for it, and also, very unfortunately, stole Rot again instead of Hook. Maybe a defensive Hook would have been able to save the day, but obviously Rot doesn't do anybody any favors.
Yeah, unfortunate. And we're still kind of waiting here for Beast Coast to actually scout out the Roche, because they've made no attempt so far, even though it's been alive for a good minute or so. But they're also waiting for all of their BKBs to come back up. They've got 4 BKBs. I would not be surprised if Stinger looks for a BKB next. They're just ready to deal with Raven's lineup. They're geared. It's where there's no even attempt at items like Lotus Orbs to kind of counter out the Sunder. They just say, hey, if none of us are Sunder targets, we're going to have to Sunder one of their teammates, and then, oh, we're just going to kill him. As Kara, on a warding adventure, ends early.
Quick kill for Sacred there. Meanwhile, the Hawk flew over the pit. Parker gets in there to check it out, and now they're going to go for it. Parker also just finished off a Shiva's Guard, so... I mean, if you're Ravens, how do you push into this safely? Even with all of your ults, there's 4 BKBs, there's going to be Shivas to lock you down. Somebody's going to be sidekicked and healing, so it's just rough. And then, oh, by the way, you know, somebody's got 2 lives. It's going to be Parker who picks it up, so everything's stacking up against Ravens right now. As Schofield... Now, he took the Shard ET, but he hasn't committed it for himself just yet. So we'll see if he's actually going to use it or if he passes it off as PP. A very dangerous game that you're playing right now. But the X pulls him back, and he's going to be able to walk away. His tower, though, will be hit up.
Yeah. X gets him out of there. Slight doesn't scout him either, but they got a cart. They're coming. They're pushing up right now. They do not care. They don't really want to be in this game very much longer. An Arcane Rune on Dark Mago for this next team fight as well. So he is just prepared to be so annoying. And you'll see on your minimap, there is no TB. Half the lineup is not in the base. Ravens are deciding to gamble everything on this bottom racks, and the fact that Beast Coast have gone out of order a little bit here. There's still a tier 2 standing bot. They have really no interest in going for the tier 4s, so this will allow the Terrorblade to get a little bit more farm. But the BKB's it, and yeah, they jump.
In on the Demon, taking him down quickly. Buyback available, but now Kara gets pulled back in. That hook hits at the maximum range, and they're going to look for this. PP has to pop his BKB. The Solar Guardian's going to come in, but it doesn't hit onto anyone. And now, ET, they've committed meta. They've committed BKBs. They have to go. They cannot afford to not fight here, but they're just getting picked apart. PP already losing 80% of his health, falling back to the fountain. He does make it home, but that means Benjaz and Yuma are fighting by themselves, but they're doing a decent job of it. Trying to get damage onto Stinger. They're able to take him down, but can they deal with the cores? No, not even a little bit here as Yuma, good Sunder, but it's not going to matter. He's still locked down by the Dismember, taken out. Benjaz bought back, though, trying to push his way in. Maybe they get Schofield here. Yes, they do. They get Dark Mago as well. This is looking a little bit better, but Dark Mago is an Ember Spirit, so he just bought back, jumps to his Remnant, keeps the fight going, and they will close it out. Triple kill for your Ember Spirit. GG called. And Beast Coast just decided they wanted the game to end, and they make it end.
Yeah, just a fantastic win. And really, I think looking at those hero pairings in those matchups, every single time, Dark Mago is just on the supports. He's forcing spells that Ravens don't want to use early because they know if we don't use our spells right now to save ourselves, well, we're going to die. And if we're dead, well, our teammates are certainly going to die next. But Dark Mago just gets the same play time and time again. The vulnerabilities of just Rubik Silencer versus Ember Spirit, you felt it every step of the way in this game. Just time and time again, the Ember finds the duo and then picks them apart. And then the rest of the lineup just somehow forces everything out of PP, Yuma, and Benjaz combined. And then Parker shows up like 10 to 15 seconds after everybody's used everything and then just mops the fight. I mean, Visca's just, again, outplay their opponents in every single team fight pretty much there. And sure, the plays, the low-stakes stuff, Ravens are able to win. They get their early lead, but they 5-man really quickly. They group up. They get a little bit scared. Beast Coast, as they are, just kind of spook them into playing with each other, and then they take the entirety of the map, and then they group up so much better than Ravens. I mean, does it feel like an outclassing? Yeah, it kind of does, but Ravens, I don't know what you do coming into game 2, because now you're also playing versus last pick versus Beast Coast. I mean, this is a tough series, man.
Yeah, and it was looking well for them, right? They had sort of passed that initial stage, gotten out of the lanes. You see here on the grass, we're 15 to 20 minutes in, and they don't have a massive lead ET, but they're holding a lead. So you're thinking maybe they're out of the woods. They've got some team fight strength. They've got Yuma farming, and at the drop of a hat, it just falls apart. And there's a reason why Beast Coast is heading to the major, right? There's a reason why Beast Coast went 14-2 in their first tour. They're just a class above some of these other squads. I don't want that to sound too harsh for Ravens, but this is what happens when you are that much better than your opponents and you know it. Beast Coast were just able to flip the switch and take control of the game.
Yeah, and I don't know if first phase bans are gonna have to change here from Ravens or what we see Dark Mago get pushed to, but this is also the Dark Mago problem. He has a performance like that on the Ember Spirit where he inundates your entire support duo, and then you think, okay, are we gonna ban the Ember Spirit? Okay, we're banning the Ember Spirit. Oh, now he's Bat Rider. Oh, now he's tiny. Oh, now we have the same problems. It's just a different hero. It's just the Dark Mago effect on the lobby. It's just so much fun to watch, but so little fun for Ravens to play against.
Yeah, drafting against Dark Mago cannot be a fun time, but Ravens are gonna have to give it a go. Game two coming up here, so we shall see what adjustments they make, ET, and whether it's enough to get them back into the series, give them a fighting chance, or if Beast Coast are going to 2-0 their way through this opening round. So stick around, folks. We'll be back on the other side of the break with the start of the Game 2 draft.